Hello friends, welcome to Philo Chess. In this video, we shall learn how to win in chess using the tactics which is called the windmill. What has windmill got to do with chess? If you observe the motion, the movement of a windmill, it is cyclical in nature. A windmill moves cyclically, and every time the turbine of a windmill comes down, it performs more and more of the task assigned to it. In the same manner, in certain positions, certain chess pieces, they keep on oscillating between the same squares, seemingly doing the same movement, but actually every time it repeats its movement, it performs more and more of the task which is assigned to it. We shall see how a windmill, the tactics of windmill acts in practical games through examples. But before we see those examples, I would like to remind you that the windmill is an advanced variety or an advanced version of the tactics which is the discovered attack. So if you have not seen discovered attack, or if you have not learned what discovered attack means, you should go through the video on discovered attacks and then come back to the windmill tactics to have a better understanding. So let's start with the first example of windmill. In the position which is here, white has dangerous attacking pieces opposite to black king, especially the rook on g3 is opposite to the black king on the same line. Of course, they are blocked by both the bishop on g5 and pawn on g7. And we also have a bishop and a queen in the vicinity of black king. So we have three white pieces attacking the black king. However, there is no immediate way to force a breakthrough. That's what it seems, because the black queen from a5, is actually pinning the bishop on g5. If the bishop on g5 moves, black queen will actually capture the white queen on h5. So how does white win from this position? If you are an experienced player, you may pause the video for some time and you may guess white's next move. And for the rest, the following moves of white are of fun. Now, what white played here is bishop f6. This looks very normal because both the bishop and the white rook are attacking g7, and the pawn on g7 dare not capture the bishop on f6 because the pawn is pinned. The rook will check black king. So in this particular position, black cannot capture the bishop. However, black can actually capture the white queen which is hanging on h5. So has white blundered? No. White has seen deeper that he can actually win from here by sacrificing his whole queen by playing rook g7 check first, forcing the black king to go to h8, and then white can recover the queen if he wishes by playing rook to g5, and now we have a typical discovered attack, discovered check. The bishop on f6 checks the king and rook on g5 attacks the queen. So it's also a double attack. But white is not interested in taking back the queen directly because he has a better move. And what he does is he plays rook to f7 check. It's discovered check. The bishop on f6 checks the king on h8. The king has to move to g8, after which we have the same windmill-like movement. The rook comes back to the same square, forcing the king to go to h8. And now the blade of the turbine goes to the same place. The rook goes to c7, again check. Check with the bishop on f6. The king is forced to come to g8. And the rook returns to the same square. g7, check. The king has to go to h8. And now the rook goes to b7. It captures b7, again check. The king comes back. The rook repeats the same motion. So every time the rook repeats the motion, it is basically capturing more and more pieces. It's drawing more and more water from the well, just like a windmill. The king goes to h8. The rook captures a7, check once again. The king goes to g8. Rook comes back to g7, check once again. And now, having cleared the entire queen side, the rook is happy to take back the queen by playing rook g5 check. Now, when the king moves to finally, it moves to h7. White will take back the queen. And in this final position, white is at least, he is material up. He is at least an exchange plus several pawns up. Here, of course, black can play king to g6 and try to recover some material, but white is clearly winning. So it's a fantastic combination. What we have seen is white's rook keeps on oscillating between the square g7 and the other squares on the queen side, and it keeps on capturing more and more material as it was repeating the same movement. Now, this is a typical example of a windmill. So in order to understand windmill, of course, we have to understand the concept of discovered attack or discovered checks. Let's go through another example of the same theme, same combination. In this position, it is white to play and win. As usual, if you want to solve this position without any prompting from my side, you may pause the video and then later match your solution with the answer which will be given in this video. Well, it is white to play and win. If you look at the position carefully, it looks actually scary for white because black is attacking on g2. And this is a dangerous attack. Both the queen is attacking, the rook is attacking this point, supported by the bishop on c6. So it seems all black's pieces are converging on g2 and black is threatening to checkmate white. So what to do in this situation? It is white to play and win. White uses the excellent tactics of windmill to win from here. So it's your turn to guess white's next move. White played queen to g5, a brilliant queen sacrifice once again. This time the queen not only removes the rook, one of the attackers of g2, but also it defends g2 and it removes the defender of the square g6. Now the rook on g5 was defending this square, so by capturing on g5, white has actually removed the defender of g6. Now black will of course accept the queen sacrifice, and now white starts typical windmill movement with his rook. Just as the previous example, he captures on g6, check. The king cannot come to the f file because white has the f1 rook. So the king has to go to h7, and that is the only move. And now the battery of bishop and rook, just as in the previous game, creates the tactics of windmill. Now white plays rook captures d6. It's discovered check. The king has to go to g7. And now white comes back to g6, check. The king has to go to h7. The rook comes back. This time it captures more material. It draws more water from the well. Check. The king goes to g7. Again the rook repeats the same movement. Check. The king goes to h7. Now the rook draws even more water from the well, captures b6, check. The king goes to g7, rook g6, check. The king goes to h7 once again, and finally the rook plays to a6. The bishop checks the king once again, and this time after the king goes here, white captures the black queen. So after sacrificing the queen, he captures all black's pieces and finally recovers the queen, remaining a healthy rook up. So this is of course winning for white. So what we learned from this example is once again the movement of windmill by the rook with combination of the bishop. So it was a wonderful combination once again, and once again it is discovered checks which enabled white to play this combination. Now finally we have another combination, and these are taken from practical games of great chess players. So here it is black to play and win. This is the final position of the video today. It is black to play and win. We have a very nice battery of black's pieces attacking the white king. If you observe carefully, we have this bishop and queen on this very nice diagonal attacking g2, but the g2 pawn at present is protected by white's bishop on f1. So keeping that in mind, black conceived a very nice combination. It is black to play and win. Well, the first move played by black here is rook captures h3. Now it's a fantastic move because if black captures the rook, white's queen will land on h1 with the help of the bishop, and it's checkmate. Therefore, white, well, let me take it back. Yeah. And if white captures the queen first, with the aim of exchanging the queens and then taking the rook, in that case, black will play first bishop h2 check with the help of the rook, forcing the king to go here, and then it will play knight f2 and the king is checkmated. Therefore, in the game after rook h3, black had to play bishop to d4, first protecting f2, and then he is threatening to first exchange the queens and then capture the rook. Well, in this position, black played a fantastic move, that is bishop h2 check, forcing the king to go here, and then he played bishop e5 check. Now here we have a combination of rook and bishop once again, but this time it is the bishop which is oscillating and the rook which is checking. Unlike the previous occasions when it was the rook which was oscillating and bishop was checking, but this time it is the rook, black rook, which checks white queen, king. And of course we can see the pawn cannot legally capture the rook because it is pinned. The bishop and the queen are attacking the king. Therefore, white has to play this move, and the bishop lands on h2 once again. The moment the king goes here, the bishop comes back all the way, checking with the rook and also attacking the white queen on b6. So here white had to go here and black captured the whole queen, winning the game. So this was a game by the former world champion of chess, Vasily Smyslov. So in all the three examples, we have seen typical examples where one player's pieces, they oscillate between the squares and they keep on repeating the moves, apparently doing nothing, but actually collecting more and more material in the process. So this was Windmill in chess. I hope you learned a lot from this video, and to keep learning more about chess tactics, keep watching the Philo Chess. Goodbye.